When I have a child, I want to take them to Africa. You know what I'm saying? I want to take them to the motherland. Let them see that, hey, we're blessed over here. You know, but look at them. They're staying in woods and trees.
Washington, D.C. based financial influencer and treehouse real estate agent Anthony O'Neill decided to follow in Simone Umba's footsteps and unite an entire continent in hatred.
Blessed over here, you know, but look at them. They're staying in woods and
Help me, because I'm struggling to believe that Anthony O'Neill thinks that Africans are staying in woods and trees. This man who talks about finance, please tell me he's not that stupid and ignorant. Please. I want to know that this is some kind of misunderstanding. It's taken out of context. I haven't seen anything saying so, but I'm hoping so, because, baby, that's embarrassing for all of us.
you know, but look at them. They're staying in woods and trees.
So this message is for Anthony O'Neill. Now, I will say I had no idea who this person was, at least not before he made this idiotic video. And quite honestly, I don't think I was missing much. So in reference to the video that you made, talking about Africans living on trees and living in the woods, I'll explain to you why that was so offensive. Maybe we'll just put some logic into things, okay? Then maybe you can understand, because obviously I haven't seen an apology video. I haven't seen you taking anything back that you said. You just deleted the video and you kind of hoped that things would just go away. But this is the internet. Things don't just go away. We saw the video and we were extremely offended. Animals live on trees. People do not live on trees. Africans are not animals. Therefore, Africans do not live on trees. Maybe when I tell it to you that way, you'll understand why what you said was so offensive and so problematic. And that's why a lot of Africans are really pissed off by what you said. Now, I do not have to get on here and try to justify how beautiful Africa is to you. I'm not going to sit here and defend Africa. I'm not going to do all that, because all you need to do is just literally get on Google and you will see that we don't live on trees. But that was just too much work for you. You prefer to go with the insults, okay? Calling us animals, essentially, because that's really what you did. I mean, even dogs don't live on trees, but, oh, Africans live on trees. You don't see how offensive that is? I haven't seen a single video of you apologizing to us. I haven't seen you. You just deleted the video and you were hoping that everything just disappears like it never existed. But you forget, this is the internet. The internet does not forget. And what you said was extremely offensive. I don't even need to tell you that. And like I said, I am not about to justify anything to you. I'm just here to call you out on your bullshit. And when you do have kids, please don't bring them to Africa. And you don't come to Africa either. We don't want you here. We don't want people like you here, because you have no respect for us. So we don't want you here. Stay away from Africa.
So when I have a child, I want to take them to Africa. You know what I'm saying? I want to take them to the motherland. Let them see that, hey, we're blessed over here. You know, but look at them. They're staying in woods and trees.
Any person saying that Africa is just a bunch of sticks and woods and trees and mud huts has never seen a real picture of Africa. This is a real picture of what you would see going into Africa. In urban areas, modern day apartments, cars, buildings, houses are all very abundant. And it's not like some tiny top 0.5% of Africans that live like this. In 2015, around 40% of Africans lived in urban areas. And by 2020, that number increased to around 47%. And don't get it twisted, these some 53% of Africans that don't live in urban areas don't live in trash. They often don't live like this or like this. Often those rural areas look something like this, you know, well built and clean. They're not usually covered in trash and have no water with nothing to eat. Now, that being said, a large portion of Africa is heavily impoverished and can't afford clean drinking water or things to eat. I'm not trying to make it seem like those people don't exist, or that's not a very hefty portion of Africa that does live like that. Obviously, homeless, pollution, clean drinking water, and food are problems in certain parts of Africa. And while yes, we should acknowledge them and try and help and support them and spread awareness about that, But it's not fair to generalize Africa as a place full of a bunch of tribes who have to hunt for their own food and live in pollutions and the sticks and trash. Africa is the richest continent on the planet, and most people have access to these same utilities you do. And the parts that don't are because of the country itself, rather it's because of billion-dollar corporations that took over those areas. Chevron, Nestle. But again, that is by no means the majority of Africa.
When I have a child, I want to take them to Africa. You know what I'm saying? I want to take them to the motherland. Let them see that, hey, we're blessed over here. You know, but look at them. They're staying in woods and trees. Here. You know, but look at them. They're staying in woods and trees.
Who's staying in woods and trees? There's no cavemen. Like, come on. Do the people in Africa look like they have 4 legs? It's not a forest. It's not a desert. Like, come on, just be for real, man.
When I have a child, I want to take them to Africa. You know what I'm saying? I want to take them to the motherland. Let them see that, hey, we're blessed over here. You know, but look at them. They're staying in woods and trees.
When I first saw this video, I felt like I was going to respond with some sarcastic video about me in a city or in a building here in Africa to prove my point. But I love movies, so let's respond from a movie angle. This is Darby and the Dead, an all-American high school teenage movie. This movie was shot entirely in Cape Town, South Africa. This is The Kissing Booth, an all-American teenage high school comedy. The Kissing Booth was shot in Cape Town, South Africa. 2 movies that take an African city and convince you that it's an American one. Remember Moon Knight? Shot in Egypt. Yeah, Egypt is not just pyramids. And for my fellow Marvel fans, remember this legendary scene from Avengers Age of Ultron? This scene was shot in my birth city, Johannesburg. Iron Man and Hulk fighting amongst buildings in an African city. While we live in trees and woods. Your own filmmakers use our African cities as a replacement for your American cities, and you guys can't even tell the difference. And yes, large populations of Africans still live in villages near trees and woods. But genuinely, what is wrong with that? Last time I checked, we don't breathe thanks to buildings. Like, I see some of your cities and I'm genuinely worried about you guys. I'm like, what do these people breathe? Cement. My country, the Democratic Republic of Congo, has one of the largest rainforests in the world. Our forest absorbs more carbon than the Amazon. In other words, you are welcome. Imagine trying to shame people who breathe fresher air than you. Oya awati.
When I have a child, I want to take them to Africa. You know what I'm saying? I want to take them to the motherland. Let them see that, hey, we're blessed over here. You know, but look at them. They're staying in woods and trees.
But he goes on to say that when he has a child, he's going to take them to Africa so he can see that being in America, they're blessed. I was like, okay, they're blessed to be in America. Okay. Because the people in Africa are living in the woods and trees. That's when I lost it. And I'm American, by the way. And on the behalf of the cultured Americans, we don't all think this way. Because there are a lot of us that actually get out, we travel, we research. I actually just relocated to Ghana because I see that people don't live in trees and woods and stuff. And even though I've always known that, but still, why are we still thinking this way in 2023 we have Google, why can't we just research things to see how other people are living?
Americans must be the most arrogant people I've ever seen on the internet. The most arrogant people I've ever seen on the internet. It must be the Americans. I mean, does it make sense that in this modern day and age, we still have young people who are below 30, 35 and 40, who still pushes stereotypical nuances about other people and other countries and so on and so on? I mean, it makes no sense. At this modern day and age, for an American to come and say, people in Africa sleep in trees, it's just pure ignorance. And what fascinates me the most are the people that defending this person, this Anthony O'Neill dude, by saying that it's the media that have portrayed Africa in a negative light. Excuse us. Americans are portrayed in a negative light all day long on TV. You guys are portrayed as aggressive, as ignorant, as stupid, and otherwise, and drug dealers and thugs and whatever the nonsense that you are portrayed as. But it takes an adult to grow up and do a proper research for us to know that there are business people that are based in America. There are smart and doctors and educated people that are based in America that are black. And we even know that there's a ghetto But there are also places like Atlanta where black people are flourishing. We're not going to just place a full blanket on everybody and paint all of you with one brush based on the ignorant media of white people. So it's not the fault of the white people or the media for you to be this stupid, Anthony O'Neill. It is you. This one is on you, particularly because you are young. You are young for us to be defending this nonsense and teaching you such basic thing. Even when you go on Google, the first thing when you type Africa is not even the sick people. It's the maps. Is it not the American people that have the Google Earth? I mean, you can just go to Google Earth and go to any country. You do not even have to travel. Like, what kind of stupidity is this? Now, I've seen trivial questions being asked to Americans. You guys are you are such a disappointment. Not all of you, but I mean the majority of you are just ignorant. And today, for a successful podcaster like you to come and be as ignorant as this, because I would think somebody like you is well researched, since you interview people all the time, isn't it? That was dumb. That was stupid. That was very, very ignorant on your part. And you need to come and apologize, sir.
Good. You know what I'm saying? I want to take them to the motherland. Let them see that, hey, we're blessed over here.
At this point, y'all are doing this absolutely on purpose. Because there are way too many Americans living abroad, making YouTube channels, bridging the gap, building community with local people on the ground for y'all to be making these wild ass claims. At this point, you're doing it on purpose because it is all in our face. You are rage farming. You're running out of content. You're running out of ideas on how to boost your podcast. Therefore, you're saying stupid shit like this. And another thing, you're mad ignorant because, first of all, there's nothing wrong with living in trees. There are a bunch of people who pay thousands to stay at Airbnb experiences in tree houses. I want to have this fake pseudo wealthy mindset. But little do you know, people pay thousands to visit villages. You wouldn't know that because you're too busy trying to live up to white people's standards in America.
Child, I want to take them to Africa. You know what I'm saying? I want to take them to the motherland. Let them see that, hey, we're blessed over here. You know, but look at them. They're staying in woods and trees.
I am not surprised at Anthony O'Neill's thought process. I am not. Mainly because we used to share the same stages on Clubhouse. So he demonstrated a similar narrow-mindedness. When it comes to social media, it is not about people being experts or knowledgeable. It's about social currency, who has the following, and people with following are presumed to be experts and knowledgeable. First of all, homes in Africa are built with mortar, metal, stone, sand, and brick. So we don't live in woods and trees. However, poverty is everywhere. In Africa, we have poor people, middle-class people, and we have rich people. The same in America. There's poverty, there's middle class, and there's wealthy people. So, dear Anthony, you don't need to take your kids to the motherland to show them poverty. Poverty is in America. There is excessive poverty and pervasive poverty in America. We see it in the streets. People who are homeless, people who are drug addicts, people who do not even have basic drinking water. If you want to show your children the dark side of life, you don't need to take them to Africa. Just take them across America and they would see pervasive poverty and deprivation in America. Also, it is only a person who is whitewashed that would measure privilege and happiness based on material position. America is a consumerist and a materialist society, yet most of you are not happy. When you go to the deprived areas in Africa, yes, they might not have all the technology and the latest gadgets, but they are happy because they have community, they have a deep sense of connection with people around them, and they have that organic connection to people and to nature. So it is important for people like Anthony and those who think like him to unlearn and stop seeing the world through Eurocentric or white people's understanding or norms. So before you come to the conclusion that being born American and living in America makes you privileged, please understand that material possession is not an indication of being privileged. Although there are poor people in Africa, they tend to be more happier
because they have community, they have a deep sense of connection with each other, and they are able to live and connect with people and with nature. And that is priceless and can never be bought with money. Before leaving Ghana, I remember I would go to my village and I would be frustrated with poor cellular network. However, the people who lived in my village did not have cell phones and they were happy. And they lived a perfect and a normal life without having cell phones. Material deprivation is not an indication that somebody is less privileged and that their life sucks. So dear people in the Western world, especially people who think like Anthony O'Neill, remember that Africa has rich, middle class, and poor, just like America has rich, middle class, and poor. I think the saddest part is America parading itself as a world power and as a developed country, yet there is pervasive poverty and deprivation in your country. So if you want to show your children poverty and deprivation, take them across the various states in America and do not bother taking them to Africa, and they will get the message. My name is Dr. Zita. I am a sociologist.
With me saying that Africans are living in trees and in the woods. When I watched that clip and I went back to my show and watched the full context of the show, I am completely disappointed in my words. I am completely apologetic to my African brothers and sisters because that was a very immature, a very distasteful comment for me to make. And I want to own that, and I want to apologize. We are the most anointed, we're the most charismatic people in the world. Why is it that other cultures, other communities outperform us? Is because they are the best when it comes to forget shouting people, forget making people run, forget making people laugh and scream. We are going to operate with strategies and systems only. How is that a preacher in a black church can hoot, can scream, can get people to give money, but can't grow the church? Because we don't have systems, we don't have strategies. How is it that we can be the best cook, we can be the best hairstylist, but we can't grow the business? It's because we don't have systems, we don't have strategies. And I'm not saying this for all people outside of black people. There's some dope white people, there's some dope Hispanic people, there's some dope all people who are gifted, talented, charismatic, and all that. We are the most creative and the most anointed group of people in the world, I believe.
I agree.
We are the most creative. We are the most anointed. We're the most charismatic people in the world. Why is it that other cultures, other communities outperform us? Is because they are the best when it comes to forget shouting people, forget making people run, forget making people laugh and scream. We are going to operate with strategies and systems only. How is that a preacher in a black church can hoot, can scream, can get people to give money, but can't grow the church? Because we don't have systems, we don't have strategies. How is it that we can be the best cook, we can be the best hairstylist, but we can't grow the business? It's because we don't have systems, we don't have strategies. And I'm not saying this for all people outside of black people. There's some dope white people, there's some dope Hispanic people, there's some dope all people who are gifted, talented, charismatic, and all that. We are the most creative and the most anointed group of people in the world, I believe.
I agree.
We are the most creative. We are the most anointed. We're the most charismatic people in the world. Why is it that other cultures, other communities outperform us? Is because they are the best when it comes to forget shouting people, forget making people run, forget making people laugh and scream. We are going to operate with strategies and systems only. How is that a preacher in a black church can hoot, can scream, can get people to give money, but can't grow the church? Because we don't have systems, we don't have strategies. How is it that we can be the best cook, we can be the best hairstylist, but we can't grow the business? It's because we don't have systems, we don't have strategies. And I'm not saying this for all people outside of black people. There's some dope white people, there's some dope Hispanic people, there's some dope all people who are gifted, talented, charismatic, and all that. We are the most creative and the most anointed group of people in the world, I believe.
I agree.
We are the most creative. We are the most anointed. We're the most charismatic people in the world. Why is it that other cultures, other communities outperform us? Is because they are the best when it comes to forget shouting people, forget making people run, forget making people laugh and scream. We are going to operate with strategies and systems only. How is that a preacher in a black church can hoop, can scream, can get people to give money, but can't grow the church?